Andreas, you're just in under the wire. I just started broadcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Seflivil, the West Road distant neighbor of the Gateway. Or the distant neighbor of the West Road Gateway. I'm not sure the modifier should go in that. Anyway, the guys are in a small town with some interesting problems and strange history, it turns out.
Yep.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. In fact, you've had the opportunity to sit around and do some reading. Kind of an important thing to get to know what it is you'll be dealing with, and you picked up a few details of the town's history along the way. For instance, a little over 1,000 years ago, someone had the idea to carve a meeting room out of a rock underground.
As you do.
Yeah. The table and the 17 chairs around it are not simply fixtures in the room. They are the room.
17, what a fortuitous number.
Oh God, these chairs are comfortable, you guys.
So, sounds dwarven.
There are some concessions to dwarves in that room, but by and large, it is a human thing.
Wait, are the chairs?
Pardon?
Dwarf-sized or?
They are human-sized, but dwarves can use them, as there are. Dwarves are not that far off of the human scale that they couldn't use chairs that size.
I see.
Maybe dwarfs just like their chairs roomier and they're more cramped for humans.
This allows them to wear more armor and carry more tools.
Right.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that was a little over 1,000 years ago.
Well,
and there were also barracks and assorted facilities built into this underground complex. Somewhere in the area of what is now Seflivil. So it was pretty much it is pretty much a massive underground complex.
Under Seflivil.
Somewhere around Seflivil.
Around Seflivil.
An exact location is not given. However, there are suggestions that after the and those were all built around 1,000 years ago. About 1,000 years ago, there was tentative noises of an uprising. Because the government had gotten despotic. A group calling itself the Order of the Upset was planning some insurrection.
The Order of the Upset. Name.
And it was, that tentative uprising, while well-intentioned, did not actually get anywhere. It was stomped out rather ruthlessly.
They have a tendency to do that.
That was just about 1,000 years ago, and 800 some years ago, which is kind of not hard to track, given that the current date is actually in the year 846. Yeah, that was an old... Yeah, 846 years ago, there was an epoch, basically. Or an apocalypse, or an epochopolypse, or something. Okay, something happened that was bad enough that the society then was pretty much wiped off the map.
Oh.
And
Started new.
had to rebuild from scratch. That was 846 years ago.
I choose to believe that there are no numbers higher than 999, and they ran out of numbers, so they just started over.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
So these events over 1,000 years ago don't sway your opinion on this issue?
It's a very large, possibly large number.
Or the cost of the building of a city. That number on more than 999 gold pieces.
You just have to use
Platinum.
more expensive units of currency.
No. Yeah. Okay.
You have to
Well,
use
why not? It's
kilogolds.
as good. Oh, maybe it's even a better explanation than many others. Because what else could have happened that we don't know about? Okay.
Yeah, all of this history came up in a text you were reading, that of it's in this other document, the Newbury journals. Remember those? That has a near complete formula for instant beer.
Yes.
Mention of an artifact called sweet hops, which is described in terms of its relevance, often described in its terms of relevance to the family. It mentions the tomb of Melitoc,
Yes.
which, as a sort of tribute to the insurrectionists of old, had his tomb built sort of off of that complex for further defensibility, and which is guarded by a guardian described as a storm-tossed sea, which one of the Newburys said might be impassable, but I have a crazy idea.
Best kind.
Mm-hmm. Also, just to put it out there, you're also dealing with somewhere out there a follower of a strong follower / proponent of Gillagius, one of those confined type deities that you really don't want getting out.
Yes.
That's debatable.
Oh, I think you want to keep a lid on this guy. Pretty sure, don't you know?
Yeah.
So, talk about questioning the lady of the town. I use that word loosely. Who was talked about so much. Oh gosh, I can't remember her name. I should have written it down. The woman who's trying to control everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The woman you're talking about is Vanya Celebre.
Ah, Celebre. Yes. Can you write that down for me in chat so I know how to spell it? I'll put it on my character sheet.
Let me check the spelling myself. Ah, it has an extra H in there for pretentiousness.
Oh gosh.
She's the worst.
The silent H
Mm-hmm.
means pretentious.
Yeah.
I mean, so what do you guys think? Should we do that? Tromp around the local library some more? Or what should we do?
You decide. I'm copying the cookbook in the meantime.
Priorities.
Which cookbook is this?
The one from the inn.
I thought we finished that.
That's the thing I'm referring to as the Newbury Journals.
The Newbury Journals.
Yes.
That's the document. Are you wait? When you say the recipe, are you actually looking at finishing out that instant beer recipe from the book? Because you have a big bag of the powder, which you use one teeny little pinch at a time.
Yeah, but at one point it will end.
True that.
Yes.
And you're preparing for the day you don't want to go dry. I understand.
Well, the owner will retain the book. I don't want to actually, I'm not so keen on this particular recipe, but there are others. And
oh, you may not be so keen on that particular recipe.
Yes, I am not so keen, but I'm still copying it.
Fantastic.
Priorities, man.
Yep.
There are other things in this book as well, or in the journals as well.
Well, I've been describing a little bit of that. There is a lot of history from before the Cataclysm that reset the Chaldean calendar. This is back from before there was a Chaldea.
Yeah, is there even maybe an explanation? Is there discussion about the 999 coming up and the question, what shall we do after 999? We have to.
I think that was a bit of. I think that was a bit of shenanigans that James introduced to the conversation.
Yes, that's true.
Best kind.
But maybe it's in the journal too. Then it's history.
Actually, there isn't.
It is not.
What you do. Okay. One thing you do find in the journal that's kind of enlightening.
Yes.
The two dating systems. The VE era.
Very exciting.
Actually, the VE. Okay. The date the stone, it actually mentions the date the stone table room was carved, and that was VE 1146.
VE 1146.
Yes, the Victory era 1146. What you're in now, the Victory era, and what you're in now is called the Age of Reform.
Oh.
So you have the VE dating system before the Cataclysm, and the AR dating system after.
So what victory was this? That sounds like that was the true era of heroes.
Okay, considering that considering that era had an insurrection to attempt to overthrow it, maybe not so much.
That's okay.
Also,
so maybe it had
also the Newbury Journals, rather vague on what did the cataclysming of the world in the Victory era, but there are places where it describes it as richly deserved.
No, it was more concerned with local things and innkeeping. How to not
just innkeeping, the arcane furtherance of an inn and the brewer's art.
Ah, wonderful. That's the interesting part, and I'm copying it.
This means I may have to make a few beer-related spells for Argyle, just for him to learn.
Please do that.
I could turn the testing of those into an adventure.
You can
later.
Yes.
Maybe if all else fails, we can start an inn. But not in Seflivil because we are not
You have
assholes.
You have two very prominent inns there already.
Yeah, and we will...
Newbury's Keg Tap, which is missing Newbury's Keg Tap, and the Bull.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in direct competition with the Keg Tap anyway.
The market is saturated.
We don't want that.
It is, rather.
Much like
if anything, I would want to open Keg Tap Location 2.
Yes.
Creating a
I agree with that idea.
Yes, right above the parking lot, there's a big column with a rotating beer keg.
Yep.
And their face on it.
Oh, I've totally got the illusions to make this happen.
We could start that one at home in the city.
I call this a neon sign. I have the feeling they'll be very popular.
Neon. That's a great name. Neon.
I'm imagining what I am now imagining what name the inn would have to have if the sign over the door was that of a couple of screaming faces on the ends of a beer barrel.
Screaming faces on the end of a beer barrel. The quick dunk.
I'm not sure you want to go there. Could turn morbid.
Yeah.
Okay. The Keg Tap 2. It has to happen.
The Keg Tap 2 Adventuring Company. Well, I suppose you're going to find a name for yourself. That could be it.
Yes.
It's a little derivative.
Well, it would be
Very
fair.
derivative.
We could also drive.
Sequel.
We could drive customers to the original one. When they pass through Seflivil, then they can say, "Oh, that's where they come from. Great!" So, and everybody's happy. Win, win, win.
But that means we have to hold ourselves to the highest standards.
Of course.
Because if we slip, then we're gonna be like negative publicity.
No. We are definitely aiming for the highest standards. What else is a business for?
You got me.
Some people would say profit, but I'll say highest standards. Okay.
The perpetuation of the art.
Yes. It cannot die. Good.
Maybe not, but its proprietors. Well, let's not go there yet.
We will protect them.
Also,
so now you know our long-term plans, where this campaign is going in the end. But
glad
for
you
the
have
moment,
some idea.
Yeah, in
But
the
for the
end,
moment.
we are going to have a chain of keg taps in all the cities of Chaldea. But for starters, we are thinking about this odd room, right?
Which odd room?
The one that was carved from
The stone table room.
the stone table room.
Right.
And what it does. And where it is.
Mm-hmm.
And why it doesn't sit quiet like other stone tables.
Why it doesn't sit quiet?
Mm-hmm. Well, why do we have problems with it?
I don't think you do, really.
Why are the chairs so squeaky?
It's just a mystery. No one really knows who carved it or why.
Yeah, but we have people sneaking around in the area of the well, where our friends are. I have all the names not in my head now at the moment.
I do tend to flesh out my NPCs.
Yeah, that's a good thing, but I should have all the paperwork with me. Okay, either way, we have a problem at the house because of sudden appearance of somebody sneaking through the garden.
Well, there's a spectral figure that appeared and told, what was it, Candace?
Candace, yes.
That she was an heiress. She was an inheritor of something.
Yeah. We should get our hands on this spectral whatever.
That may involve finding the tomb of Melikoth. Melikoth?
Yes. Also,
Yes.
it would involve having some kind of spiritual blessing on your gloves in order to get your hands on anything spectral.
Yeah, but we have Saphir. Can Saphir make such blessings?
I believe I can bless things. I mean, I don't know the ceremony spell, but wait, are we talking just like blessing? What, like how?
Blessing things to get our hands on spectral messengers from the tomb of Melotok.
Oh,
Because
like speak with the dead and stuff.
Oh well, the dead speak, but then they run away. And I'd like to keep them where they are so they continue speaking and get clearer.
Okay. David, is that something I can do?
Well, let's see. I'm looking at a version of your sheet right now. Yeah. I think things got moved around since the discussion last week, and I'm not exactly sure how they moved.
Not very much. None of my skills are different, just some of my stats.
Yeah, I believe okay, charisma's down to 16 and something got put up to 11, didn't it?
Yeah.
Should be.
I mean,
17.
like none of my abilities changed. None of the things I can do changed. Just how good I am at a few things.
Okay.
Is blessing? Is do I have any skills that let me keep ghosts from running away?
Also in my
because it sounds like that's what
running away. That sounds like a spell. Because
that's another thing. I don't have Saphir's spells, and he should have a few slots available.
Okay. Well, let me go to my character sheet and look at my spells. Now that D&D Beyond has the new fancy character sheet that I'm not quite sure if I like or not.
Let's see.
Okay. Spell team go. Well, I certainly have protection from evil and good and sanctuary, but I'm not sure that I have anything else. At least it doesn't say anything else here.
These are both not what we need because they are actually keeping the ghost away, and we want to keep it here.
Okay. No, I mean, I know bless, command, cure wounds, detect evil and good, detect magic, detect poison and disease, divine favor, heroism, protection from evil and good, purify food and drink, sanctuary, and shield of faith. I don't have anything that, as far as I can see, immobilizes or traps spirits.
Okay, but you know someone. You know this priest we ran around in the rain with.
Yeah, and he trusts me, so I'm sure he'd help me if I asked.
Yeah, let's do
Yes,
that.
and he is one of the faction of. He is one of those factions of Gillagius that is content and intent on keeping Gillagius all pent up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he can help us make a trap, right?
Maybe.
Well, I'll ask him.
So you're seeking him.
I'll give one of like the village children that's hanging around. I'll like give them a coin and be like, "Go fetch the priest and ask him when he's ready."
Now, before we resort to traps, let me just say, I have the feeling our bard can keep a spirit messenger occupied and giving us information without having to rely on, let's call that plan B.
Okay, good idea. Because better it parts willingly with the information than before we have to force it to tell us stuff.
Precisely.
Okay, the bard, our friend Sagak.
Exactly. What do you think, Zach? Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, good.
So, John.
Yeah.
So if you see that ghost or whatever it is, you could keep it occupied and extract the information from it, right?
Yes.
Maybe.
Trying to think of a song that would help. Comprehend languages might be necessary.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so, because it could talk to
It could talk to her, just
Candice. It was able to talk to Candice, so it can speak in our language. But as a plan B, if it doesn't want to talk, then we drop the blessed cage around it.
It doesn't want to talk. I guess fall back on my my persuasion skill.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Yep.
Was there a special area where it appeared?
Well, let's see. Candace's bedroom once, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Outside a window, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And then inside.
Yeah, that was the bedroom. Yeah, the bedroom's inside.
Bedroom and outside the window. That more sounds like two different guys, because the MO is quite different.
Unless you count Candace as the common element.
Okay.
And really, outside the window of the bedroom versus inside the bedroom, they're not really that far apart.
Okay, that's a good point. Okay. So, but where can we put the trap? We would have to encompass the whole bedroom. Somehow with a blessing.
Well,
that sounds difficult. I think Thagak is the better way to go. We don't want to scare it away with a inaptly laid trap.
Oh, I definitely gotta try this out, because screw the danger. I needs more lore.
Okay. Okay, so let's go plan A and B first, and both of these are Thagak. And plan C with the trap comes into play in the night after that, in case plan A and B failed.
Okay, it's still morning though.
Oh yeah.
I believe the plan was you all went. I believe you all gathered at Newbury's to confer, share notes, and generally get your morning feed on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any more immediate plans?
I still want to go to Lady Calibre and see what we can pry, what knowledge we can pry from her.
And at what cost?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. It was gonna be
Any
like
cost.
me, you, and
Dagak, I think.
Sagak, yeah. I think we were gonna do that because, you know, somebody who's a little better at talking, someone who's very blunt, and then somebody
who's good at negotiating.
yeah.
Perfect. And that gives me time to copy the book.
Yes.
So, your move.
Anyone else want to join us? I say pointedly to a paladin barbarian.
Oh, yes.
Excellent.
Experience at
you.
least. I don't think I'm gonna like her.
I
but
would love to.
Okay, let's
be there for moral
go.
support.
So the morning action is a call dropping in on Ms. Calibre.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Shaking the tree of knowledge, so to speak, to see what drops out.
Mm-hmm. Ta-da!
Since you're going to be here writing anyway, mind if I take the broom?
Okay, take it.
Excellent. I'll go low and slow.
Well, you don't want her to see a book that's about brewing beer.
Mm-mm.
Such people tend to be a little judgmental.
Exactly.
Or maybe she's just mental.
Wow. That like bordered on dad joke.
Well, myself, I prefer cerebral.
Mm-hmm.
You get to a certain age and the older person joke becomes second nature for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. So we have going to Ms. Calibre's place. Saria. Tess?
I
Tess is
don't think Tess.
Sagak, Gilly, and Saphir.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's more for the I want to see what happens and not I'm gonna like this lady or be able to help out tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. I'm not sure if Warren is going along with him. I know Argyle is staying back and tending to that book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so almost all of the party is going to the Calibre house, whatever that may be, and whatever that may entail.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do this.
Okay. So,
okay.
We're off.
You're off. And after a bit of walking, you come upon a farm.
Excellent.
The farm has a finely lettered sign advising the name Celebrate, the correct spelling.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Only one B.
And below that, a crest that looks like 2 stalks of wheat, a mushroom, and some sort of flower.
Ah, they're advertising the fact that they're on nuclear power.
Wow.
No, the mushroom is not cloud form.
Right.
Whew.
Well, of course,
We
they're
lucked
not
out here.
draw the actual cloud. They want to be subtle.
And one of the first things you see after looking at that sign is over there. There is a cow.
No.
And not Ms. Calibre either. I mean, an actual four-legged ruminant.
Wow, David.
Actual bovine. Yes.
Right.
Just one cow, huh?
No.
Well, there are probably a few others around, because what kind of farm would have just one cow?
See, that's what I thought. I thought it was very suspicious.
A farm that mainly got a cow so that they could have an excuse to call themselves a farm.
No,
Could be
it
true.
looks like there is a field over there, and there's a field over there. This is actually kind of a large farm.
Koi is accurate.
And they have...
Right.
Maybe it's just to avoid suspicion. I would think it's suspicious if they only had, 0 cows.
Yes.
Okay, as you look, yeah, there's a few other cows down the hill there. So, yeah, cows, plural.
Well, I will approach the front
And
gate,
there is something...
and if there's a knocker, I will knock it. Oh.
I will point out there is something a little strange about these cows.
Go
Are
on.
they unusual colored?
They're purple.
Are they like pink?
If anything, they're groomed.
Are they like the woolly cows?
Oh, they're not the woolly cows. They are the cows you would typically see around farms in these areas for dairy farming or meat farming or what have you. But in this particular case, it looks like someone has gone to the trouble of brushing these cows down.
And then giving them a trim to keep the hair out of their eyes.
Something like, yes.
Oh man, it's gonna be
As I thought, they're more for show rather than for actually.
Or they're for loving.
Hug.
I find it best not to grow too attached to my food.
Aww.
Not every animal is meant for food. Sometimes people get cows just to love them.
Yeah.
Most animals.
As Emmy quite obviously would.
Yeah. Oh my God, Princess, really?
I do have to say, this talk of loving farm animals is something about
I
it.
don't mean it like that.
I know you don't.
There's a reason.
But there is this part of my mind that's going, toing.
Not like that.
That's worse. That's worse, dude.
Not like that. Oh my God, David.
Platonic cow love.
I'm not talking about doing awful, unconsensual things to the poor thing.
Weird ass conversation.
Moving on.
Yeah, or as I like to say in certain email signatures, it's impossible for the modern man to love his car the way some cowboys love their horses. At least not until the exhaust pipe cools down.
No. No.
Well, I'll just say there is a reason they call it animal husbandry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
And having plumbed those depths,
Yes.
Could we not?
This is worse
know?
than puns.
Let's not. Yes.
Okay.
Better ways you.
Well, this has been fun.
But yes, yeah. If one or two other cows come up for the grazing, and yeah, it looks like they've been similarly cared for.
Yeah, they came for the grazing. They stayed for the combing.
Yep.
And down
Under
the
my
way.
breath. Oh God, she's even trying to make the cows pretentious.
Of course.
Yeah, going down farther, you see the crops have been planted in rows so neat you'd swear they'd been plumb lined.
Ha! Of course.
Mm-hmm.
What is this place?
And you've never seen sheep with a poodle cut before.
That's just surreal.
I could have gone my whole life without seeing that.
Well, this was certainly worth the trip.
And you haven't even talked to the old biddy yet.
Yes. Okay, this tells me a great deal about my approach.
Appeal to the ego.
Exactly.
Yep. And we'll use the blunt druid to punch it back down if we need to.
Pretty much.
Yeah, actually, just out of curiosity, Emmy, what level of spell is speak with animals? Or is that an ability?
It is level 1.
It's, yeah, sounds about
Yeah,
right.
do we want to talk
Just
to any
curious.
of
Should I talk to the cow?
Do you want to talk to a cow? I
Yeah.
say knowing the answer.
Tell us where the farmer touched you.
Oh, we're
my-
going there again. Oh, the pains are coming back.
I never saw a purple cow. I never hope to see one. But if I see one anyhow, I'll get some shots of B1.
So you're doing the talk to the animals thing?
I mean, I don't know what the cow could tell me right now.
Yeah, maybe nothing.
Oh, damn. My husband's like, or something really useful.
I will say we can ask what happens on this farm and maybe wiggle for advantage on appealing to someone's ego.
Sure, what the hell? I like talking to cows. I mean, it seems like it's necessary when it's a cow and it's me. Like,
It does.
there's really no other choice.
I'm kind of curious. I want to speak with animals too.
You know, someone has a potion of animal communication.
Right now, that
yeah,
guy
that's
is the one
true.
holding it.
Didn't we use that, or?
I don't think you did.
Okay.
No, we didn't.
What?
We did not use it.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
We did?
I'm
The
trying to remember.
The shark?
Oh, the shark.
Oh, I wasn't there.
Okay, then you don't have that potion,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure if Saria can cast it on someone else.
Don't think.
But she can be our translator if other people do want to talk to the cows.
Yes.
Mhm. If that's the route you want to go.
Why
I was really
not?
just asking about the spell level, but
They just-
We absolutely have to, because there's no way that Emmy is passing up a chance to speak with cows. It's happening.
Of course.
Don't even try to stop her.
Right, exactly.
The GM specifically bringing attention to the fact that this
the
spell
cows are
exists.
groomed.
I think he's bringing our attention to it to give us some better idea of what the woman is like.
Mm,
It's an option anyway.
indeed.
So, hello, cow.
Hello. And she walks over to you, practically going nose to nose with you.
Oh goodness.
Finally, someone who speaks to me.
Mhm.
This is a rare treat.
I see you were very well taken care
Yes.
of.
Oh, yes. I think they love us here.
Well, that's good.
Everyone is kept neat and trimmed and milked and fed and watered. And oh, this is just wonderful. All this attention. It's lovely.
Oh, I'm sure.
Absolutely lovely.
Oh, God. You're awful.
I do wish sometimes we had more boys around here, but
More boys, huh? Well, I mean, I could always bring that up with the mistress of the house.
if you would please. I don't ordinarily feel that compelled, but it'd be nice to have some additional company around.
Never bring in any bulls because, you know, that would lead to lascivious behavior on the part of the cows.
Could lead to cow dancing.
Yes. Which, you know, ends in drinking beer.
What is wrong with cow dancing?
Drinking beer.
Mating is a perfectly normal, you know, exercise with an animal. Like, these humanoids are just so foolish in their ways.
One of the other cows comes. One of the other cows comes up the hill to look at what's going on. The one turns to her and says, "Hi, Helen." And the other one, "Hi, Destroyer." Yeah.
Helen and Destroyer. I love it.
Wow.
I turn to the group.
Going to that little philosophical question: what do cows name themselves?
That's great. I smile at that. I turn to the group and I say, "This is Helen. That's Destroyer."
Huh. I would not have guessed.
I split an apple and hand it over.
Oh, thank you.
Who's a good destroyer? Yes, you are.
So you guys.
I can't understand a word she's saying, but it makes me feel nice.
Yes.
Well, she is being nice. So everything is good then? You guys haven't seen anything odd or strange around here?
It's very peaceful here, except for the rain. It sometimes smells a little bad.
Smells bad?
Smells bad, yes. So, sort of that bitter thing. It's not normal rain. But we get plenty of fresh water.
Well, that's
the trough is undercover just in case.
Okay. Yeah, that does show some forethought.
What was that?
Oh, they have one outside
the
too,
what?
but the trough is undercover.
Oh, I thought you said the trophy, and I was like, what? Okay, sorry. Go on.
Well, there's an uncovered trough too, but they keep the water changed in that one. Otherwise, it gets kind of foul.
Right.
Yeah, I think the sky's broken.
Yeah, we're currently working on that.
Good.
It's probably
Anything we can do to help?
Well, I mean, if you see or hear anything strange, then definitely let me know.
I'll do that. Where are you staying?
Well, we're staying at the the Countess?
That old house that doesn't get much use.
Yeah.
Someone's living there now. Well, I'll have to visit.
Definitely.
And then yes.
I'm just picturing this cow wandering down the street.
Yes, escape's your destroyer's specialty.
Oh, nice.
That's great. And I just encourage them.
Well, it never goes well for the escapees.
Yeah.
Now, just think for a moment.
You.
Just think for a moment about cows that leave their field and are caught, and then they moo loudly. Maybe they are saying, "Hey, let me go. I'm going to visit that house over there."
Yeah, I have diplomatic immunity.
Yeah, so there's
Pardon me, diplomatic immunity.
obviously there's no cows for concern.
Ay, ay, ay. What are we doing, we humans?
I've got to wonder right now.
But we will definitely be around. No, I wasn't going to watch that yet.
Well, so basically the idea is to sweet talk, what's her name, Madame Calibray, get her talking about her favorite subject, everything she disapproves of.
Of course.
Because usually the things that she disapproves of the most probably going to be among the most interesting things going on in town.
Right, and she's happy to talk about it because she likes to complain.
Exactly.
Would you excuse me for a moment? I think I'm going to need to shout at somebody.
Okay.
Shout.
Right. And so in the meantime, and we're still live.
Yes. Oh, he's back.
Us now.
Sorry about that.
That's life. Okay. So what happens next? Do the UFOs come and abduct the cows and start mutilating them?
God, I hope not.
No.
Okay.
Man.
But the aliens' one weakness is compost.
Well, let's see. Yeah, proceeding toward the house after the speak with animals wears off, and it does eventually.
Yes.
And the cows look a little extra contented having been talked to in a meaningful way.
Yes.
If that were even possible.
Well,
yeah, these are very happy cows.
That's good.
Yeah,
well,
the sheep are kind of happy despite looking kind of ridiculous because of the poodle cuts.
Oh, the poor sheep.
Well, you know, cows, let's not forget, nice weather we're having, ain't it? That passes for deep conversation among cows.
Well, some animals anyway. Also, these days it hasn't been so nice. It's been overcast. It could start raining again soon.
Yeah, hopefully fresh water this time.
Yeah, you should be so lucky. Yeah, it hasn't been the town's fortune these days.
Oh, well.
And like I said, the lines for the crops are ramrod straight.
Right.
Like the goats have their strange cuts. The chickens are some odd breed that you haven't seen before that have the feathers sticking up always around the head. Yeah, she has extra fancy chickens because you can't really groom those.
Of course.
For the crops that are super straight, does that appear to be something that extends into the distance?
It does.
What sorcery must she be using that would take you so long to plant crops like that? The only way she could get so many crops.
You just need to be able to measure.
But
It's
it would be
called
so
math.
slow. You couldn't do it on this much farmland without using magic.
Well, where we come from, there isn't this much farmland. Period.
He's got a point. This is more cultivated food than you've seen in a long time. There's something reassuring about it, but it still feels a little unnatural.
Yeah.
At least to the wastelanders.
Yeah.
Of which the party has 3 at the moment.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And you do eventually get to the house.
Oh, here we are already.
Which is a comparatively modest-looking house. Immaculately maintained, though. And who's at the front knocking?
Oh, that would be the charming guy. That would be me.
Mm-hmm. And so you knock, and after about a minute or so, a gentleman comes to the door, looking sort of haggard, and says, "Yes."
Yes. Basically,
He looks elderly and tired.
yeah, the basic idea is that we're like paying a call on Madame Celebre. We could hardly, we're currently guesting up at the, the manor house of insert family name here.
Mm-hmm. The Lavanels.
We could hardly come around without paying a call on the most distinguished, Seflivil's most distinguished citizen.
And to that, he sort of mutters under his breath, "Oh, God, you're actually going to encourage her." Yeah.
Apologize in advance.
Okay, I like this guy.
I do too.
Yeah, you don't think Vanya does her own planting, do you?
Oh, of course
Yes.
not.
I wouldn't have expected. I'm sure she doesn't milk the cows either. In any case,
Very happy
And
cows,
just-
though. You've done
And to say nothing of that shack in the back where we grow the mushrooms.
yes, right. In any case, yeah.
It's difficult to imagine the animals suffering through what they do.
In any case, so present my calling card and whatnot. Have they invented calling cards yet?
Not as such. At least not this far out.
Right. Okay.
They're starting to make some appearances in the city. You're
Right.
not in the city.
Recite your calling limerick.
Yes.
So you wish to speak to Vanya. Okay, I'll go get her.
Yes.
Would you come inside, please?
Of course.
And he takes you into a sitting room that can comfortably seat 4 people. There are 6 of you.
And I am on my least peccable manners.
I can stand.
Well, I have to sit down specifically so I can rise to my feet the moment she walks into the door.
Of course.
Good call.
I'm not that polite, so I don't care and just stand.
Yep. Which works perfectly.
Yeah, if you're already standing in
Better stand up then. You're going to need to sit down.
And finally, she comes in, looks around at the group, and oh my.
Sort of immediately rise up to my feet, you know, and the whole, you know, salutations, Madame Calibray. You know, we were just, you know, we're guesting at the home of the, et cetera, yeah. And we
Yes,
could hardly, and
I-
as I said before, we could hardly come by like that without paying the call upon the most, you know, et cetera, all of that stuff.
Now, okay, this is about the point where I would ask you to make the charisma check or persuasion attempt to get on her good side.
Persuasion attempt, yes.
However, let's
With
think
my-
about this.
My plus 6 total
John.
modifiers.
John. John!
Yes?
He put a however in there.
Yeah, I put a however in there. I'm remembering the last time you met with her at the Lavanelle's house, and some of the people in the group might have been a little, shall we say, short with her?
Yes.
Hey. No short jokes.
Wasn't a joke in this case, at least not intended in that fashion. Still, it might make getting through to her a little tricky, so unless you do something, you'll be rolling at disadvantage.
So 2 rolls and I take the worst of the 2.
Right, and then add the skill modifiers.
Right.
Like I said, unless
Skill
someone
modifiers
cares
are
to,
plus 6.
right, unless someone cares to help, because if you're rolling at advantage and you can't roll at both advantage and disadvantage.
It
If you
cancels
get the both of those, they cancel out, and you make a straight up roll.
I will assist.
Okay.
I am the next most charismatic person.
Okay. So, what did you just roll, John?
Oh, the first roll was a 16.
Okay, and with pluses.
Oh, actually, no, 15. It was a 9 for 15 total.
Okay. So between those, you managed to get on her good side at least sufficiently.
Yes.
Oh, it is a pleasure to be recognized. So, what can I do for you? Admittedly, motley group of adventurers.
Yes. Well, sometimes it's necessary to take traveling companions where one finds them. In any case, so I was just, you know, like fascinated by the, you know, first of all, essentially, you know, having traveled, I've been, you know, we've also been assisting Countess whatnot, with
yes,
so
yes, nice girl, but seems to be out of her league.
well, that, as a matter of fact, is why we're here. We thought best to talk to somebody who really knows the local area, somebody who understands the, you know, the situation, the various situations here, etc.
Well, then I applaud your candor and wisdom in this case. Candor and wisdom. Pardon me.
Well,
GM moment.
one does try. I have my moments, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
And
so, how can I assist you?
well, first of all, you know, just essentially the idea is to just start by talking about like history of the place, including that carved room and so on. But I'm going to try and nudge the conversation around to her opinion of the way things are done around here or have been done, etc. Because I'm sure she has opinions on how everything should be done.
Mm-hmm. As you've seen from the farm you just walked through.
Yes.
The cows at least are happy.
Very happy.
You're not sure what the farmhands are having to put up with to get it that way.
Yes, well, I'm fairly certain the farmhands are fairly unhappy about some things, but I carefully don't say anything about that.
Well, let's see. Before she came, things were all right. Now that we had a brisk bit of weather to begin with, but our burger, Ladislaus Cooperi, was doing a very good job of maintaining things. The inns rough as they may be, did manage to bring in a fair amount of business, and yeah, the other farms in town do tend to produce good things, although not necessarily as well crafted as ours.
I had noticed.
Well, the animals seem to like it, and they do give a respectable air to the farm.
White.
Yes,
And
beautiful and quite happy. And the only compliment I will ever give this woman.
Rightly so.
and so on. And also, the other thing is, you know, apologetically, because it's potentially an unpleasant subject, but I'm sure she's aware of some of the problems that that they've had around here, and maybe that she can see coming, whatever.
Yes, that man they occasionally see around the graveyard. That's troubling.
Oh, that man. Who is that again?
There is a gentleman. There are rumors of someone occasionally being sighted sniffing around the graves.
Aha. I very carefully note that down. And
yes, the Sunset Pines graveyard is not intended to be sniffed around.
Well, no. It hardly seems... it's not very... I've never thought it very seemly to sniff around graves at all.
No. And that fellow they put in at the Temple of Arcane, that Walter, seems an unseemly sort.
Really?
That, yeah, strong. There's a feeling that that gentleman came in from the sea a little too soon or a little too late. I'm not sure which.
It's yes, it's difficult to say. It could even be both.
And there are rumors that there are, well, for lack of a better word, poison merchants around here.
Oh dear. Yes. I'm sure as she goes on, I'll pick up from context what she means.
Yeah, the poison merchants, I don't believe you've had much mention of before.
Oh,
right.
But Jilly has.
You might have, yes.
Because I remember getting the lowdown from a farmer.
All right. So anyway, yeah, shocking. And so I don't know if I'm up to role playing the entire conversation, but
you don't have to be. Her in summation, the TLDR version of her very demure diatribe about Seflivil is that it is a thriving town which is having more troubles than perhaps it should, considering the installation of the recent noble.
Right. And from the tenor of what she says, do I get the feeling that the problems she's noted are recent, or have they been ongoing?
Some of them have been ongoing, like the poison merchants. They've kind of always been around. That is an old problem.
Right.
Yeah, the issue with Elstven Walter is fairly new because he's a recent acquisition to the town.
Right. And she regards him as
kind of an interloper, as a rough edge that the community doesn't need.
Right.
Until proven otherwise.
Well, there's I'm sure that yes.
Shu, please check chat.
Purple collars.
Yeah.
I hear someone snoring.
Yes.
Oh dear, Shu. She didn't mention. She didn't specifically mention the fellows with the purple collars.
No.
She just said some people deal in poison.
Interesting.
Right. So,
I'll ask about purple collars if they have any significance to local clergy or groups.
Well, it sounds like a wonderful color, but I'm not sure why I have not seen that particular shade around anywhere before. I wonder why that is.
that's recent then.
I may have to look into acquiring that color.
That means, well, possibly. Although, if people wearing purple colors are new here, that means they're newcomers, doesn't it?
It could. You don't know how long they've been here, though.
Yes. And of course, as soon as I mention newcomers, I'm sure her eyes narrow. In fact, I put just enough of the just the right inflection on that word. Because it now occurs to me that if the purple collars do need something, she starts wearing them, that could
be bad.
That could be bad.
Give me an insight check.
Insight. Oh dear, insight for me. That's wisdom, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, well then, insight.
I'm still assisting, so. And speaking of assisting,
okay, so I get a total of 16.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty good.
Right. It's not necessarily the newness of something that sets off Madame Calibre. It's the roughness of it.
Ah. Right.
If these newcomers are well-groomed and pretty, she doesn't have any objection. These fellows were not pretty.
Right.
But they did have those purple spots on their collars.
But they weren't there. But they weren't pretty. Okay, good. Okay, well,
but the rest of the fashion was so tacky. Nouveau rich.
Not even that rich.
It's not that so much. Just it's if they're déclassé. Yeah, I think possibly. Well, once we've gotten everything out of the meeting,
and you're having that bit of conversation around her, and she looks kind of smug, knowing that she is following the conversation. Yeah.
Right. Well, once we've pretty much gotten everything out of this.
Once you've gotten everything else out of it.
The thing to do is to withdraw as politely as we can. Thank her very much for her time.
I swear that's Shu snoring.
Probably is.
Possibly.
I think if it wasn't, she would correct us.
Right.
But there was something else you wanted to ask her, wasn't there?
Basically, it was, should we ask her about the purple collars? And I think we did just now.
Yeah, but no, but there was something else you wanted to ask her about before the collars came up.
Was there?
Are there any legends about dwarven ruins? Or human and dwarven trade?
Well, I did mention the carved stone room.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
A local landmark, and that's just.
Oh, yes, it is. It's in the Cave of Traders.
In the what now?
Well, okay. The cave complex that was carved out such a very long time ago, that was properly called the Cave of Traitors once the resistance from the old regime. This was such a long time ago, before everything changed.
Ah, yes.
But yes, it is referred to as the Cave of Traitors for everything that happened in the whatever happened 800 some years ago. For all that happened, then the name stuck.
Yeah.
It was where the resistance had been holed up. And it is one of those things which, if more is made of it, could put Seflivil back on the map. It is a bit of history beyond when people understand history began. So I think it would be good to cash in on it.
I must have a look at it.
Oh,
But then, you know, I mean, I actually do. Yes, I actually do have skill proficient. One of my specialty history is one of my specialty skills.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you know, I must have a look at it. I'm thinking I should write something up for Academy Circle.
Really?
you have a keen interest in history.
I do.
You have good taste, I say to Madame Calibray, and I bring out one of the historical coins and show it to her.
My.
I don't know if you have a collection of historical coins.
Oh,
but
I am nothing of a numismatist. I work on a farm. Yeah, and sort of behind her in the hallway near the door, you see the old gentleman again, sort of rolling his eyes at the word work.
I send a quiet wink his way.
But yeah, I basically try and get her interested in acquiring historical coins. Should I roll a persuasion?
Give me a persuasion check on that.
Would you like to assist me on this so that we can funnel money back to the tap?
I'm sorry, funnel money back to where?
The tap.
Well, these are interesting. I can't say I've ever taken, like I said, I haven't taken much of an interest in numismatism because I work on a farm. But these are distinctive, and I think I understand their historic value. They're from about 500 years ago.
Dave, I don't recall.
About 400 or 500 years ago.
I don't recall ever examining those either.
Well, now they're in the hands of someone who's examining them.
Right. Well, okay.
16 if you're helping me out.
History, huh? Well, I got a 12.
Well, I would like to hang on to a sampling of them, if you don't mind. I can reimburse you for them, of course.
Certainly.
So mark off up to 10 gold worth of the old coins. Multiply it by 1.5 and put it into your new money.
Okay.
Also, I could take you on a tour of the complex. It is rather complex and maze-like, because this was a cave system designed for trench warfare, defense and trickery. In fact,
yes, that is a capital suggestion.
I could show you some of the tricks that the original users of those caves intended.
That sounds fascinating. I would love to take you up.
I will ask you to watch your step, because some of them are quite dangerous.
Oh, absolutely.
And having gotten that out of the way, you suddenly have a reason to be nice to Vanya Calibray. This ought to fill some of you with some concern.
Trepidation, perhaps.
Yeah.
And you also have a new interest in the purple situation, whatever that is.
Right.
I wonder if that becomes significant.
For better and worse, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. So, meanwhile, just to keep Argyle from feeling left out, there you are in the common room of Newbury's Keg Tap, continuing to go over that book with a fine-tooth comb, looking at the magic notes and finding the bits of the journal that are relevant to your interest. In the process,
suddenly?
Well, not suddenly at all. You're doing the work there, and the Newbury that you already know, Jody Newbury, is occasionally bringing you drinks. Softer ones, softer watered ones, maybe more flavorful, but without the punch of the harder liquors, so they don't ruin your concentration.
Great.
Because book learning and stupid don't mix.
That's true.
But you're reviewing the notes, and I think this would be an arcane check.
Let's check.
To see if you can figure out what's missing from that recipe.
So that is, I figure out with 19.
19, you're close. But you can't quite figure out what's missing from the recipe.
But I can figure out that something is missing from the recipe.
You know a few things are missing, and you have it down to... You manage to pare it down to an incomplete list of things that you know are missing. You're not terribly close to finding the recipe for instant beer. You might be experimenting with a little bit of the powder here and there to try to crack the code, if you so desire. But you have to use the powder sparingly because it is so potent.
Yes.
Something else I will give you on 19. You find a few more references to sweet hops, whatever that is. It turns out, sweet hops. It actually turns out that it is an artifact.
So not just a rare substance, but one specific object.
It is one specific object, and it appears to have been made in the shape of a keg tap.
Ah.
I will share that information with Jody. Because
she is kind of funding this expedition, sort of.
Yes.
Or has at least a vested interest in it.
Hence the name of the tavern, the missing tap.
The name of the tavern is Newbury's Keg Tap.
Right.
And she looks over your shoulder, And then she looks up at the velvet-lined box on the wall. Back at the text again. Okay. There's an old family story about how a group of competing brewers didn't like the advantage that my family had in the brewing game and tried to cause some trouble here. And the family heirloom that was in that case was taken somewhere and hidden. I don't know where, unfortunately.
By whom was it taken?
Competitors. And you actually remember something from near the end of the book about how the keg tap had to be hidden nearby in order to keep it out of the hands of the people who would destroy it in order to keep the brewing profession pure. Put in quotes.
Didn't we find something in that form under the floorboards as well?
You found a book. The book with the keg tap on it is the thing you're reading now.
Yeah, I thought it was just a picture. There was not.
It was, yes. Leather workers put the image of the keg tap into the cover of the book.
But it was not a keg tap with it.
There was no keg tap itself with it. You had the book, the bag of powder, and the bag of coins.
Okay, but it was hidden by not by the competitors, but by the ancestors of Joe. Okay, so that's good then.
That means, okay, if it's still where the Newberries hid it, that means it's somewhere nearby.
The provenance of the coins might tell us approximately when it was hidden.
Yeah, and you know the coins are about 450 to 500 years old. So wherever that keg tap's been, if it's still there, it's been there a long time.
Yep.
If I was the ancestors of the Newberry family, I would keep them in the house.
It's an artifact that looks like a keg tap. You know where it probably is right now? It's on some keg other than the one that they originally had it on.
Yeah, most probably. Although that's a dangerous place, because when the keg breaks,
hiding in plain sight is just a form of security by obscurity.
In
the long run, that tends not to work.
Yeah, not for 450 years.
We got to dig through that book, see if we can figure out who might have taken it, and if we do a little research to see who lived where when, we could get some clues as to where it might be.
So I think, but it basically means that our plans of a chain of keg taps won't fly.
Well, it could still work. You just won't have that fancy keg tap that is missing from the first store. And she's done well for herself, and the family has done well for itself without it.
Yeah, that's true.
Who knows what they could do with it, though?
Yeah. But I'm going to look for it with her help in places that are reachable inside the house, where something like that could be stored. So I'm asking her if she would have an idea where a good place for something like that would be in the house or in the kitchen or in anything in the house that is 450 years old.
Actually, I need to okay, it's less of a retcon and more of a reminder. What you found under the floorboard, under the bar, was the journal, the one with the keg tap pictured on the front, the coins, the powder, and a healing potion.
Oh yes, right. You mentioned the healing potion.
Give me an int check.
Yes. An int check. Bam. So wait, it's under int or?
It's d20 plus your int modifier.
Oh yeah, right. That was it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That is 9 plus 3 is 12. 12.
Okay, 12. Okay, I'm just going to remind you that you found that cache under the bar originally because you were using a detect magic in the common room.
Oh yes. Yes, that's true.
And the healing potion was the only thing that pinged that spell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But the CAG tab would also respond.
The keg tap would also respond.
Unless artifacts are invisible on detect magic spells.
Some of them can be.
But most of them usually would not. Well then I'm going to cast it again and go looking, because I really expect it in the house, because where else would you put it to be sure that it doesn't get stolen from under your nose by a lucky finder?
Good question, yeah.
Except maybe deep under the underground in a stone table room, but even there it would be dangerous.
That would be an interesting place to leave it.
Yes, it would. So I'm guessing it must be somewhere here, somewhere inside something that is old here. That would be the basement, maybe, or some.
Okay, the basement you would have scanned with the detect magic.
Mm-hmm.
The initial detect magic, but now you have a new detect magic open up, and you're not finding anything in the bar or the rest of the house really, beside those the occasional bit of +1 armor or gear that you find on the travelers, the ones with the purple collars.
Mm-hmm.
How are you conducting your search now that you have the detect magic up?
I am. Yeah, I was going to walk through the house and around the house to
storeroom. Good.
Yeah, to or any of the buildings that connect to this, or where they close to the private quarters.
Yeah, you have the family. Yeah, you have the common room and the kitchen on the first floor. You're also kind of able to scan the basement, the second floor, and yeah, if you wander out there, you can scan the stables. Also, if you walk around on the second floor, you get some. You can scan the third floor, and don't find anything up there. The stables are also likewise clear.
But the roof?
The roof? The roof is not on fire, and it doesn't contain any artifacts. Sorry.
Okay.
Just had to at least swerve in that direction. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well,
I was asking for it.
Right. And as you are now left with just a minute or two on that casting of detect magic, what are you doing? Probably getting into the corners and making sure it's not there. Giving the house as full a going over as possible.
Yes.
And so the spell eventually runs out after you've pretty much determined that if the keg tap can be picked up by detect magic, it's not in the house.
Do they have any? Do Do they have anything in the house that is 450 years old? Maybe something somewhere there was left an a reminder or a clue.
The house itself is a historic building.
Yeah, the house.
It's about that. Yeah, well, the inn is several hundred years old.
Mm-hmm.
It's very well maintained over the centuries.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a few artifacts in here of. Okay, maybe not artifacts the way you mean it, but
objects.
Objects.
Objects of historical interest.
Mm-hmm.
Objects of historical. Oh, come with me.
Mm-hmm. I follow.
Mm-hmm. She takes you up to the second floor, to the third floor. Goes into one of the lesser used rooms, lowers a staircase from the ceiling, and goes up into the attic.
Yes.
I'm wondering if there's any. Okay, this is not a new inn. This is an inn that has had a lot of decorations in it that might not actually fit the decor over the years. And so you start rooting through the various paintings in their canvases, sort of stacked up like firewood against one corner of the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Give me a perception check.
I give you a perception check. Where's my perception at? That is a 12.
A 12.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she's flipping through the paintings and you're looking through them, and that didn't work. No. Some of these are about the right age, but yeah, the keg tap isn't pictured. I'm not sure where it would be. Not seeing anything that hints at a location.
Something at the roof, maybe. Let's take out those that are of the correct age area.
Okay.
Like
there are about
500 years.
About 500 years old. Well, there are dates on some of these, and some of these are not in very good shape. But yeah, these are doable, and you have about 6 pictures picked out that are of the right age.
Let's see if something is added that was not there before. So.
And she starts looking over paintings and doesn't pick out anything. Give me another perception check.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you're looking for something very specific on these paintings.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that is at least 14. Not much better, but...
Aha! It's paint.
I knew it.
Yeah. Oil at that. And you look over the pictures, there is a woman, there is a vase, there is an old house, there is a field of some small flowering plant.
Okay. The woman, the old house. What kind of house is this on the picture?
It is just a well, it's okay. It's a view through a window of a house, sort of in the woods. There is a small shed attached to it, but yeah, the house and the shed are over there, and
seen through a window.
Seen through a window.
Could that be somewhere could it be seen through a window here in this house?
Could be. Let's see. That was. Oh God, what would it be? Great grandfather, or am I using too many or too few? I don't know. Some of them married young, but let's see. Yeah, you're having trouble which window this would have been viewed out of.
Probably this house that is here pictured is most definitely not there anymore.
Probably
but
not.
maybe if there is something in the background, maybe we can see something like a hill or so. So
Maybe. And in the last few minutes, I'll let the rest of the group come back from Ms. Calabres.
Hey, I tell that one guy that he needs to get a bull in here every once in a while because those cows want a boy here.
Wow, completely. I heard bull, and I'm like, what about cuckolding?
Cows got needs.
We're not talking kink, we're talking actual cows.
Those ladies need service.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't say it like that.
But you're the blunt druid.
I am the blunt druid. But I mean, I say it the way the cow did. I'm passing along a message. Like I'm not so blunt that I'm just like, hey, the cows need service. I'm like, hi. So the cow told me, or Helen and Destroyer told me that they would like some boys here every once in a while.
Are you pronouncing that with the appropriate?
Yes. It would make them very happy. And I think happy cows.
Yes, I would like a mail delivery at this address. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that happy cows are very important.
Yes, and also the farm guy. I will be interested in finding out what he wants to tell me that she wouldn't have thought was important. You know, so what didn't she tell me about?
What she didn't tell you about. What she didn't tell you about is this fixation she has for everything looking prim and proper. She wants to spread that as far and wide as she possibly can. Nobody will get a moment's rest if she gets it.
Right. She wants to make everything beautiful and quaint and proper.
Her definition of proper.
Right.
That's why I'm afraid of her plans to.
I just sort of pointedly look over at some of the sheep. And I said, I see.
Generally, that keeps them cool, but I wonder if it's the right thing for them. It couldn't possibly be.
I find myself thinking of we need to get Argyle or somebody to invent rose-colored glasses.
I'm not sure she needs them.
And then give them to her as a gift. But that'll have to be done in a subtle fashion.
So let's see. Fast forwarding a little bit to the bunch of you guys getting back to Calabres Keg Tap, not Calabres Keg Tap.
Newberry's.
Yeah, there are too many K's and N's in this. Newberry's Keg Tap.
Or that was us.
Something like. So there you are at Newberry's Keg Tap, and Jody and Argyle have brought a painting out of a house seen through the woods from a window.
Is it familiar looking?
You have never seen the house before.
Right.
That's an old picture here. We are trying to determine through which window this would have been seen, because we are looking for something hidden.
Okay, well, let's see. Can I tell what time of day it is intended to depict? And from that, the way the shadows lie.
Okay, there's going to be all sorts of factors going into it. Everybody who wants to can give me a perception check.
I'll be an art critic.
Pardon?
Yes. Let me see. Perception check. Either that or I'll be assisting with it. Oh, well, that's wisdom again, isn't it? That's plus. Oh, wait, +3 because of my
proficiency bonus. Yes.
Okay, 15.
Not bad. Everybody else? Let's see. Tess got 15.
Ooh, dang. The druid knows her stuff.
Also, the plants around it should tell the druid what time of year it depicts, and that plus the way the shadows are will tell her.
That'd be like expecting something in a painting to talk to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope there wasn't too much artistic license in this.
Okay, but I am going to...
We are thinking that there's a deliberate hint maybe somewhere.
Oh, Emma, you brought in a ringer?
What?
You brought in a ringer?
Yes, I
did.
did.
Seth roll the die.
Yeah, Seth roll. Well, he saw me rolling it after Coy got a really bad roll, and so I was like trying to roll the bad rolls out of it, and so he rolled and got 19. I was like, "You did so good!"
Yeah. Can't help thinking that may be motivating the wrong behavior in the long run, but you know what? Let's roll with it for now. Emmy?
Yeah.
You're pretty sure that window, the peaked roof over it, the slope of the land going down from there, you think you've seen that window on the 3rd floor.
Dun, dun, dun.
On the 3rd floor, huh?
Mm-hmm. And you can go running up there or walking up there, however you see fit.
Okay.
You're pretty sure you know which room this painting was made in.
Okay.
And therefore which direction that house is in.
Awesome.
And you get up there, the window looks right. The trees look kind of different because, you know, about 450, 500 years.
Right.
But yeah, they're... And you can still even see just a little bit of chimney sticking up through the leaves and such. So that might be the site of the old house right over there.
So the old house might still be there?
Oh, there
well, okay. The site of the old house is there. The old house is nowhere to be seen. You see a bit of chimney and that's it.
Chimney is more than I would have expected. Well,
it's a stone construction.
Then let's go.
Cherie.
Then I'm going there to check it out and to look for magic at that place.
That seems like a good thing to do. However, I think at this point I am going to stop broadcast because I don't want to make this too easy for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
So yeah, next week you're going to get into a bit of trouble, hopefully.
Yay, trouble.
Only a little bit.
We love trouble.
Yeah, I'm sitting, writing, copying a book that should be the least troublesome thing ever, and then I'm running into trouble.
Yeah, something like that could happen.
That's what happens when you are a role-playing character.
Yep, it is.
And so I will hang up, stop broadcasting.